Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today we're going to dive into a little bit of NBA. I'm going to start with Fanduel. I'm going to try and get to DraftKings. Maybe we'll come back do NHL. I know we'll come back and do PGA. I'm going to walk through our DFS Army research station on PGA because this is a waste management open week and this is a huge fun week to play golf. And I've got a special VIP that I'm going to help as a personal favor because I like this guy's work ethic is absolutely amazing, and I like working with him to make sure that he gets access to all of the tools that we get. So I'm going to read by column, show him how to use that. So tune in for that video a little bit later. Today we're focused on, or at least this video, focused on selecting a player pool for FanDuel and for DraftKings. The easiest thing to do is just grab a piece of paper and start writing this shit down. I've seen people in our coaching channels saying, I can't follow all the chatter, I can't follow all the coach, I can't. Listen, I'm going to get you started in the right direction. You break the ties with all of the coaches and everything else, but I'm going to get you started in the right direction. 90% of the time, this is the player pool that I'm going to use with no changes. I may add a player here, a player there, based on late breaking news or something, but generally speaking, this lineup, this player pool is 90% complete. We're going to focus, I'm going to draw an analogy with you here in just a couple of seconds that I want you to pay specific attention to, even if you don't play poker, because this I've received a lot of feedback on is helping paint the picture of how important this is. The first thing, so let's kind of dive in. If you're new to me and follow me out on Twitter at Chapadong, thank you. These videos are hitting out on Twitter now. I don't think people prefer videos on Twitter, but whatevs. It's just another way. It doesn't cost me anything to dump it out there. If you found me through Twitter, come into YouTube and click like and subscribe. And go down to the comments section and use the dfsarmy.com link to become a member and access this coaching yourself. I get a lot of feedback from you guys, and I try to put out the content that helps you guys become better players. I know all of our other coaches are trying to do the same thing. We're doing it in a little bit different ways, but I spend a lot of time talking to people throughout the day, and hopefully we're able to discuss, and it takes time sometimes, but discuss maybe where you might need a little bit of help or need a little bit of work or whatever. And I'm not a perfect player, but a lot of discussion generally gets to the root of the problem. It's like fighting with your girlfriend. Eventually, you get to the bottom of the problem if you're willing to keep working at it. And that's my promise to you. I'm willing to keep working at it as long as you're willing to keep working at it too. And we will get to the bottom of it. We will get you fixed, get you pointed in the right direction. Use coupon code CHOP while you're down there, CHOP, trigger that 20% off discount. And let's rock and roll. Just from scratch, get that piece of paper out, take this and one column, sort by descending order, pull all of the top matchups to the top. Overall strength matchup rating system, and one is primary category number one. This would be like your top card strength in poker. You play Texas Hold'em with your grandkids, or you play Texas Hold'em with your buddies every Tuesday night, whatever it is. Your ace king, your ace queen, your king jack, your even your jack 10 has a little bit of high card power. It has the ability to make top pair a lot. So this would be category number one you're looking for. In Hold'em, there are three ways to make good starting hands. That's high card strength, that's connectedness, and suitedness. And if I've got all three, I'm sitting in a really, really, really good spot. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for all three in the FanDuel player pool. I'm going to click off on point guard. And I've got what? Westbrook, Paul, which is interesting, Simmons, Sexton, Forbes. And what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games today. Let's cut it there at 5. That's typically the number that I use. I'm going to run over to shooting guard, Harden and Butler, Drew Holiday, Eric Gordon, and Beal. I'm not looking at the other guys yet. I will gauge the overall strength of the position by looking at these and one matchups. Who has good matchups? It's a lot of them at shooting guard tonight, right? So we may be looking to pay down. Maybe Eric Gordon becomes important. Maybe we dip down even into an Alex Burks. We'll let the value section in a minute pick up on that. Rudy Gay, top projected and one. That is interesting. Even over Giannis. PG-13, Redick. Interesting that Redick's a small forward now, not a shooting guard. Haven't seen CC Osman on the list in a long time. CD Osman, my bad. That's how long it's been. Thought his freaking name was CC there for a split second. LMA. Gordon, the other Gordon. Blake Griffin. Griffin's interesting. Randall's questionable, so we'll go one more down off of him. For Reed, price is coming way up quick. PJ Tucker. The reason that I'm putting going down a sixth one is because a questionable guy. I want the top five that are going to play tonight. Blake Griffin's in an interesting spot. He's almost always just under those tier one studs that you're really fighting for, and he gets forgotten a lot. This year he's been a little bit more boomer bust. He usually doesn't have the upside. This year he's had some upside, but he's also had some bad games. But you usually get him at lower ownership because he does get kind of caught in the land of the lost. Zissic's interesting. You're going to have to look that one up. Something may have changed last night to kind of boot him out of the deal. Pau Gasol. Yuck. But look at how quickly this center position drops off tonight with the matchup strength. Shooting guard was way stronger across the board. So you're going to end up having to probably decide here between Vucevic and Embiid. If you want to come in down here, you're taking a noticeably lesser pathway to center, which, I mean, you can still find some value in there, but your matchup's not great. Your ceiling probably isn't going to be too stellar. So bear that in mind. Pretty weak center spot. Weak center spot means pay up for the studs because you're generally going to need them. Put a little extra weight on it. Now, if your construction takes you elsewhere today or something, that's fine. I'm just telling you that's generally the rule. And general rules are just made for being broken, man. All right, the second category is the value column. You just saw me sort it by descending and then kick on to the point guards. That would be your connectedness, your 10-9, 6-7, ace-king, king-queen type stuff. So if I've got high card strength and connectedness, I've got 2 out of the 3 good starting quality, starting hand characteristics, which means that I can put a little bit extra weight into that particular player because he hit 2 columns or 2 categories instead of just one. And that's Reggie Jackson, who's just value only. So I'm going to end up Okobo, 1 only. Peyton, 1 only. Satoransky. I don't like this. Because as I get down these top 5 guys, there's no overlap at all. You got to get down to number 7 for Chris Paul. He didn't make the top 5, so he doesn't count as a 2-category player. That sucks. It means that position is going to be a little bit more wide open tonight. So you can game the angle for value, or you can game the matchup angle. Either one, but it's going to be a little bit of crapshoot because nobody has another strong indicator coming with them. We'll check hot and cold here in a minute, and that'll help. Kennard, 28 minutes. I hate writing crap like that down. Oh, Eric Gordon gets the V up on that top list of 5. There's your first duplicate today. Bruce Brown, Fournier, Devin Booker. There's your number 5. Jimmy Butler almost made the list, but not quite. Doesn't count. So Eric Gordon is your 2-category player, your first one. Stanley Johnson. I need to see more minutes than this. I'm going to skip right over him. Unless later today my coaches start chirping him. There's Rudy Gay, duplicate. So when I see a duplicate, like I said, up there in the top section, I put the V next to his name, telling me that he's on both categories. So him, Harris, Gay, Bridges, Porter, Oubre. And here's one that I see people putting way too much stock in. People like Jason Tatum, people like Kelly Oubre. These guys really and truly are a little bit up and down. Go look at their game logs. They're not very consistent players. You need to know that. You need to take that into consideration. If you're trying to build a lineup that you think can win a tournament, that's one thing. But if you're trying to win one that sort of backs itself up with some cash and some leagues and stuff, you want to devalue that player a little bit because of his inconsistency. The margin for error in NBA these days is so small, you cannot drop a dud. So Rashawn Holmes, Hollis Jefferson, Ed Davis. Looks like more non-duplicates. Portis, Fareed finally. LMA finally. So those are your two value guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Lance, LMA. Damn it. I'm going to leave LMA on there tonight. Hell with it. Probably won't even add Nance in there. Zisic, that one, again, you're going to have to look into that one. Vooch, supposed to bring value. Allen, Okafor. Now, if Okafor is getting minutes again, probably is going to bring. Look at that price increase. That's a little frightening. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. And Embiid. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, he might still be bringing some value if he gets the minute run, but you're going to have to look that one up. Turn that back off again. Come all the way back over here for who's hot. Sort that 3-game by 10-game column. This is your suitedness. So if you've got an ace-king suited tonight, you've got yourself a damn strong play. But here's where the analogy kicks in. Ace-king suited, you look down at your cards, you holy shit, I'm going to raise the pot, I'm going to make a ton of money, I finally got this card, I've been waiting all freaking week for it, blah, 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 blah. And the flop comes 9, 5, deuce. And some dude bets into you, and you're like, son of a bitch. The one time I get it right, it fucks me anyway. That's DFS, man. That's just DFS. But if you keep playing the ace-king suited and keep raising the pot with ace-king suited, you will eventually get paid. That's DFS. You keep slanting the odds in your favor. The strongest possible starting potential. Cut your player pool down tight. Keep playing the guys that are bringing value, that are running hot, that have great matchups. You will eventually get them right. You hear me now? That's the relationship to poker and why the analogy works. So I'm going to look here at these top 5 guys. I see Rajon Rondo, which is interesting. I don't want a player pool this big. Satoransky gets the H, kind of becomes a 2-category guy, a value/hot guy. Done. Frank Jackson. Man, what are your minutes? Did I miss out on? I did. I mean, he was mentioned probably a week or so ago, or a few slates ago. So if that situation's the same, fine. And Shemay, man, that sucks. So I've got nothing. My point guard list except for Satoransky. Satoransky is my 2 guys, and I am not comfortable running him out there everywhere, treating him like some great starting cards in Texas Hold'em. But I will make note of it because the day is early, and it does change as the day goes on. And if he ends up being something the industry and somebody's chirping about, he's going to become very important. We've used him before this year, so we can't completely write him off. Jimmy Butler's hot. There's a two start guy or a 2-category guy. Burks, Vine. There's Drew. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, this isn't a professional studio. You get sneezes on occasion. Drew's another two-category guy. Selden's a drop score candidate, if you even use him at all. So Drew, Jimmy Butler, Eric Gordon. We don't have any 3-category guys today. That's starting to scare me a little bit because I need to see a few of those guys on a slate to feel confident. So when I come back over here for small forward, I see Osman, Paul George, Lance Stevenson, and Darius Miller, and Pinson. Okay, also worth looking into. But Osman, Paul George, Rudy Gay. Those are your 2-category guys. Rudy Gay in the matchup and value, and then PG-13 and Osman in the matchup and running hot. Don't really give too much weight to those particular categories like, oh, well, hot means more than value. No, it depends on the way you're wanting to use the guy. Just know that they trip 2 of the categories, and that's a good thing. Fareed, Bender. So Fareed, of course, is hot as hell. There's your core play. If you heard me circle the sheet several times, he's your only real core play right now. Markkanen, Diallo, Ed Davis gets an H. So Ed Davis gets 2 check marks. Kenneth Faried got all 3: value, matchup, and hot. Core play today. You may find otherwise at 5:30 this evening, but as of right now, he should be in just about all of your lineups. Okafor's 2 categories. Actually, Zizek and Vooch. There's the Vooch. Zubac. Definitely look into that one. But Vucevic let me down recently. That one sucked. He was also a very, very strong play. Pau Gasol gets the hot. So Pau Gasol wasn't bringing value. Okay, 13 minutes. Yuck. That one, man, you better double check that. Make sure he's getting 25 to 30 minutes tonight, because otherwise this sucks. This would be a turd trap. Don't roster him. He's got no shot at getting you 25 points tonight. None. He's only getting 13 minutes. I mean, he'd have to dominate the whole time he's out there. Don't even worry about that. 15 points. 15 points might be bringing you freaking however many X, your value number is. But the problem is he's a drop score candidate only, and he's very, very, very likely to be your drop score. You cannot waste a drop score candidate like that. You have to use a drop score candidate that actually has a shot at being kept. And ideally, you need a couple of them. So Embiid is a 2 category guy. Vooch is a 3 category guy. Zizek is 2. Pau Gasol is 2, but I'm crossing Pau Gasol off. Okafor is 2. So if I had my list, I would say point guard Satoransky, shooting guard Butler, Drew Holiday, Eric Gordon, small forward Rudy Gay, Paul George, CD Osman, power forward I would say LMA. Kenneth Faried is, I'm not going to say a lock, but he's very, 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 very important. Ed Davis, potentially. And then at center, Embiid. Vucevic is very, 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 very important. And then Zizic, and then Okafor. Those are your options. So that's pretty much your player pool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 guys that we like, 2 that we really, really, really like, and about 30 others to choose from. That's your player pool. Let's kick over into DraftKings and do the same thing really quickly. Just to show you, I'm not going to even mess with the value or the hot and cold stuff. I'm just going to run the matchups just so you can see that the same names start popping up. It's just we're going to have more names because of the multi-position eligibility. So when I kick on just the point guards, and I see the matchups here, Harden, Westbrook, Paul, Drew Holiday, Ben Simmons, Sexton, D'Angelo Russell, Bryn Forbes. So these are about the top 6 or 7 guys I would expand to because of the multi-position eligibility. I would look in here for who's value. Reggie Jackson, Satoransky again. See how the player pools overlap? And that's why it shouldn't be that big of a deal if I do, one or the other. And I'm only doing, well, looky there. If I'm only doing Fanduel as opposed to DraftKings, it shouldn't bother you too much because there's so much overlap in these player pools. A strong play is a strong play. It's just a matter really if they hit 1, 2, 3 categories. But you learn this little system for one site, you've got it for the other. You don't need me for that. That's the beauty. I teach you how to fish. I'm not here just to hand you lineups and spoon feed you. Harden, Eric Gordon, Jimmy Butler, Drew Holiday, Bradley Beal, D'Angelo Russell, Bryn Forbes, Zach LaVine. I mean, are these names repeating themselves or is it just me? That's kind of the beauty of it. Then I'll go through the small forward here real fast for you, and then we'll cut it off. Eric Gordon, Jimmy Butler, Rudy Gay, Paul George, Giannis, Ben Simmons, Aaron Gordon, J.J. Redick. I mean, hello, right? Not a big deal. Should not be rocket science. And you focus again on the value. Gordon, Butler, maybe Fournier. I don't know that I'd use Rodney Hood. Otto Porter makes the list. I mean, so these are your value guys. And you go over there, scroll over, and find the hot and cold guys. And what you're going to wind up finding is your player pool is going to be dramatically similar to what we just did for FanDuel. So the easiest part is I can cut this baby off at 20 minutes, release you guys to the wolves. But you need to become a member at dfsarmy.com because you need sometimes the explanation between now what do we do? Now that we've got the player pool, now what do we do? And that's where you're going to lean on your coaches, and that's where you're going to ask questions, and that's where you're going to get the discussion and the feedback from legit experts, in some cases professional DFS players whose sole incomes are DFS. Those guys are in there waiting for you to help you become better players and start learning this game correctly instead of relying on handouts from other people. Okay, so I've got your research started. You use them to polish them off. Come inside, join, become a member today. DFSArmy.com. Use code CHOP, CHOP. Trigger that 20% off discount. Obviously, retweet me out on Twitter. Help me spread the word. The more people I help, the more memberships I buy for February. We're running February sweeps. Check my pinned tweet out if you want to take a look at that. Appreciate all the help. Ring the notification bell while you're down there. That's what obviously dings your phone when I drop a new video. And if you've got time to sit and watch it, I love it. Thank you for investing the time with me. Love to see you guys on the inside, talk to you a little bit more. I'm out of here. We'll be back today for NHL and certainly PGA, maybe some NHL stuff as we get rock and rolling in a full week of DFS play. Take care, guys. We will talk to you later.